Hello guys, welcome back to Life with Pauly. It is currently February 12th, Thursday, and I'm back with another video. Today's video, I'm going to be talking about SNAP benefits, or as some people still call them, food stamp benefits, and if you qualify or not, and if you can get help. The reason why I decided to make this food stamp video today, SNAP video, is because I noticed that there's a lot of people on there that are on SSI or SSDI that use most of their money for their bills, and they struggle to pay their bills while putting food on the table for themselves. And I just want to say that if you are on SSDI or you're on SSI or have a limited amount of income, it is possible for you to get a little bit of help with food stamps, or as most people call them now, SNAP benefits. Okay. And I'm going to give you the requirements and things like that by state. I'm going to be putting a link down in the description down below to the USDA website, and it gives a list of every single state and the requirements in that state, the income guidelines in that state, and explain more to you in this video. So if you are one of those people, because I see a lot of people on SSI, SSDI that struggle to put food on the table for themselves because they're paying bills, like I am here in Albany, New York, which is the state capital of New York. I pay a pretty high rent, $900 a month for this 2-bedroom apartment. Now, I was lucky to get this 2-bedroom apartment for $900 a month. Most apartments here in Albany, New York are anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500. Sometimes it's $1,000 just for a studio apartment. Now, when I first got this apartment, I did not have food stamps or get help with food stamps, SNAP benefits. I applied just before winter and got approved for $200 a month. Now, the reason why I got approved for $200 a month is because, one, I'm on SSDI. I have a limited amount of income. I get a little over $1,500 a month, but for this apartment, I pay $900 out of my own money. That's cash money. I do not get help with Section 8 or any other type of assistance. Now, if I did get help with Section 8, the rent here would only be like $450. If I was only paying $450 and my electric and heating bill, mainly they count your heating bill. Let's not count electric. Let's count your heating bill. If I was only paying $450 a month here and paying my heating bill, I still would not be eligible for food stamps. But since I pay $900 a month with nothing included, and I have to pay my own heating cost here in New York, I'm eligible for food stamps. So I get $200 a month, like I said. That's enough to feed myself and gives me a little bit of extra money for other things to take care of my necessities, like toilet paper, body wash, dog food, because I have Annabelle, and money to take care of her. So it does give me a little bit more money for my other bills. My phone bill, for instance, even though I pay my phone bill off for a year, at this point right now, in another 6 months, I have to pay for another year. So at this point, I'm saving for my phone bill coming up in about 6 months. So it does help me, those $200 a month in food stamps. If I was paying $900 a month rent here, plus my heating bill and electric bill, I would be struggling a little bit more if I did not receive food stamps, because of course I would have that $200 cost added in. I would have almost no money left, especially since winters have been very cold here in New York. Just a few days ago, with the wind chill factor, it was -5 out, but it felt 20 below. So heating bills and heating costs has been high, not only in this state, but other states and cities also. Now, if I lived in this apartment and I paid $900 a month with everything included, meaning my heat was included and my electric was included, I would not be eligible for food stamps. And this is going to work this way in almost every single state. Like I said, I'm going to put a link down in the description down below of the requirements and things like that. But to the people out there that make below $19.51, which is $1,951, if you make below $1,951 and you pay a high cost in rent and you pay a high cost for electricity and gas, mainly heating cost, you might be eligible for food stamps, a little bit of help. This could be for people on SSI, could be for people on SSDI, it could be people that are just low income and don't make enough. Now, there is new work requirements for people that do not work, like the homeless people, veterans, things like that. As we all know, the chief in command made it so that people had to either be working 20 hours a week, which is 80 hours a month. They have to be going to a vocational school 20 hours a week or 80 hours a month, or they have to be volunteering somewhere 20 hours a week, 80 hours a month in order to still receive food stamps. The chief in command made that law, and then that law was paused by a judge. A judge made an order to pause that until just recently. So what does that mean for people out there that are not working and receiving food stamps? What does that mean for the veterans and the homeless people? Well, that means this month coming up, most of them people will not receive food stamps anymore unless they prove that they are working 20 hours a week, 80 hours a month, or going to school or volunteering someplace. Those people are all going to be cut off between March and April. They're going to be cut totally off. They will not receive that help anymore. The food stamp program was not made to live off of for life. It was not made for people to take advantage of. It was not made for people just to stay at home, sit at home, do nothing. Food stamp programs, welfare programs were made to help people in need for a certain amount of time. It wasn't made for people so they just could sit at home and do absolutely nothing. It was made for people that were low income. It was made for people on SSI, people on SSDI, so they could receive a little bit of help. That's why most places now they call it temporary assistance, because they meant it to be temporary, not a full-time gig. And I get that. I don't agree that people should just sit at home, do absolutely nothing, and collect off of the government and taxpayers. I think that is totally wrong. I myself, throughout my life, a couple times, I did receive food stamps, but when I had my kids and I was 17 years old, my oldest daughter, she was born a month before I turned 18, I got a job and I took care of my kids and I supported myself. I supported my girlfriend because I did not want her working. I wanted her to stay home and take care of my daughters. I didn't want my daughters being watched by a stranger, even in daycare. So I supported myself, I supported my girlfriend, I paid all my bills myself, and I did not get food stamps. I bought the food myself. My girlfriend didn't even get WIC for my daughters. I didn't get WIC, which is a program that provides like formula for your baby. They provide diapers sometimes for your baby. They provide juice, cheese, milk. I did not get that for my children. I bought that stuff myself. I remember way back then in 1992 when I used to go to Walmart and buy formula for my daughter. It was like $2.89 a can back then for the liquid form, like a small can, $2.89 a can. I bought that stuff myself. I didn't get help with government assistance. I knew that if I chose to have a baby, if I chose to have children, I should be able to take care of them. And that's what I did. I went out and got a job, and I had worked from the age of 17 until the age of 43 until I started having health issues. But of course, now my kids are grown. But there is a lot of people out there that take advantage of the system that shouldn't take advantage of the system. And I know a lot of people get mad when people talk about getting food stamps or getting, welfare, whatever the case may be. And I get it, because taxpayer dollars are going to that. And people that work hard for their money, okay, they feel that they shouldn't have to take care of other people. And I agree with that. They shouldn't have to take care of other people. Okay. And so that's why I decided to make this video today. For people out there that do struggle to buy their food and have low income, some people don't know they can get help. Some people are not eligible for help, though. Even though they still struggle to pay their rent, they still struggle to pay their heating bills, their electric bill, and put food on the table. Some of them aren't eligible for help. Like I said, if you make below 1951, which is 1,951, and that's pretty much every single state, you can go in the description down below and look at the website and get the readout for every single state. Usually it is 1,951. So if you make below that, you pay a high cost in rent, and you pay your own heating bill depending on where you live in the country, you may be eligible to get food stamps to help you and your family out. And, I just made this video because I feel that a lot of people on SSI, SSDI, they don't know they're eligible to get a little bit of help with food stamps. They don't know they're eligible to get a little bit of help with Medicaid. A lot of them suffer because they don't have health insurance, and health insurance is very important, especially to take care of yourself. That's why I ended up on SSDI, and with a bad heart and with stents in my heart and all the health issues I got, because I was working full time. I worked for 10 years as a home care aide, and I could not afford health insurance. So because I couldn't afford health insurance, I could not go to the doctors and take care of my health. So my diabetes type 2 was out of whack, my high blood pressure, my high cholesterol, and because of all that, years of working without health insurance and going to the doctors, it destroyed my health. And there's a lot more people out there like me that are going to end up like me, having a heart attack or end up dying because they cannot take care of themselves. And I'm just here to tell those people that sometimes there's a little bit of help out there for you. Now, I'm not talking about the people that make $3,000, $4,000 a month or $80,000 a year. Those people make pretty good amount of money, and a lot of people get free health insurance from their jobs, but some people do not. When I was working, and I worked for this lady for 10 years, my job did offer health insurance, but health insurance through my job was not free. I think the cheapest package they had just for me was like $5 something a month. I couldn't afford to pay $5 something a month, plus pay rent, plus pay my heating bill, plus buy food. I couldn't afford that. So I couldn't get the health care that I needed. So I want to let everybody out there know that there is a lot of people out there that don't know they can get help, and they can get a little bit of help. Now, if you're living somewhere and if I was paying $700 a month for this apartment and paying my own heating bill and electric bill, I would not be eligible for food stamps, even though I make below the $1,950 a month. I still wouldn't be eligible, because I'm paying less in rent. If you're living with someone else, say you're on SSI, SSDI, you're living with someone else, you're renting a room out for $200 a month, you're probably not going to be eligible for food stamps. This is for the people that pay high cost in rent, like me. I'm paying $900 a month with my electric bill during the winter. This winter has been harsh, like I said. I'm paying $1,200 a month just for my rent, electric, and heating cost, which only leaves me with a couple $100 a month left for my shampoo, my body wash, my taking care of my dog. And yes, I applied for food stamps and I get $200, and I'm grateful that I get that help. Food stamps, like I said, and welfare were made for those type of people. People that have a disability, people that are on SSI, people that are on SSDI. It was not made for the people that just want to sit home and do nothing, or made for the people that want to sit home and just keep on popping out babies. I don't agree with that neither. Now, the new work requirements, let me explain that a little bit. The new work requirements are for the homeless. The new work requirements are for the veterans. So those people also are going to be getting cut off of food stamps if they haven't already this month. March and April, all those people will be cut off. It's expected that 1.1 million people, homeless and veterans, will be cut off of food stamps if they are not volunteering somewhere, if they are not, working somewhere 20 hours a week or going to school. Now, if you are one of those people that fit into that category and you're afraid you're going to lose your food stamps and you want some place to volunteer, good places to volunteer, because if you volunteer someplace, they will usually give you a paper that they fill out themselves to tell you're volunteering and how many hours you're volunteering. So if you are one of those people that can't find a job right now and you don't want to lose your food stamps right now if you haven't already, okay, if you are one of those people that can't find a job right now and you want to volunteer somewhere, I would suggest going either to the Salvation Army or to a Goodwill in your area. And most of the time they will let you volunteer there. And the reason being is because most of the time they need help. And of course, they don't have to pay you. But they will give you a paper filled out that you are volunteering. Now, the only other way to get food stamps and you're not working is, of course, if you're on SSI or SSDI, you don't have to be volunteering, you don't have to be working. Or if you have a statement filled out by a doctor from your local social services department, food stamp department, SNAP benefits, whatever you want to call them. If you have a medical paper from a medical professional doctor that says you are disabled and cannot work, you can receive food stamps. That would be a paper that you would have to get also if you are applying for SSI or SSDI. Because before, you used to be able to go into food stamps, you used to be able to go into welfare and say, well, I'm applying for SSI, I'm applying for SSDI, I'm disabled, I need help, and they would just give you help. Now that's no more with this new law. You can't just do that. You have to actually have a doctor's statement from a doctor saying that you are disabled, filled out by a medical professional. Me, myself, when I was applying for SSDI, this new law wasn't in effect. So welfare did help me when I was applying for SSDI. It took me a very long time. I got denied a couple times. It took me like 3 years to get it. And during that time, welfare did help me out with food stamps and about $200 in rent. But I was made to sign a paper by welfare that said that if I got back pay on my SSDI, I had to pay that money back, and I did. I paid over $5,000 back to welfare. So they did not help me for nothing. But now the laws have changed, and if you don't know the laws, go search it on Google and you can see the laws. And in each and every single state, in the description down below, I will put the link to the USDA website. It gives you the income guidelines, it gives you the work requirements, and it also gives you now what states you can't buy candy and soda in. A lot of states are banning candy and soda, and sweets on food stamps. There's a lot of states where you can't buy a candy bar no more on food stamps. You can't buy soda on food stamps no more. The news story down below, the USDA website gives you a list of each and every single state where you cannot buy snacks or junk food off of SNAP benefits, food stamp benefits. So go check that out, guys. I just wanted to bring this video to everybody because I know there's some people out there that do struggle with not being able to feed themselves, and I just want to tell them out there that there is help, a little bit of help for you if you qualify. There's a lot of people out there that do qualify that don't know they qualify. So go check out the site down below. See if you qualify. Like I said, if you're paying cheap rent, if your electric and gas, your heating costs is including it in your rent, most of the cases you will not be eligible for food stamps or Medicaid or whatever the case may be. But if you pay your own heating bills, your own electric bill, the whole amount of your rent, you will be eligible to receive some kind of help if you're below the income guidelines. Keep that in mind, guys, and I'll be back with another video shortly. If you have any comments, suggestions, or concerns, leave them in the comments down below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, the share button, and I'll see you in my next video.